We are live. Right.
Hello, hello, hello.
Let me drop this bad boy in, guys. Welcome, everyone. How's it going?
Bloody
Hey up to you, son. Hope you're good.
Sweet, sweet, sweet.
Nice one.
So, Bops, what were you going to tell us, mate?
Hey, listen to this. Sent a freedom of information request to Essex Police on the 17th of December. Said to where is it? Where's it fucking? Bloody
Hey up to you, son. Hope you're good.
Hey, listen, you're gonna like this, Russ, man.
Nice one.
Someone's echoing.
So, Bops, what were you going to tell us, mate? Oh, for fuck's sake. One sec.
Hey,
There we go.
someone's
Sorry.
got YouTube on.
My bad.
Right, listen. This was my request, yeah, to Essex Police, and this is following another, and this is on the backdrop of another request to Metropolitan Police. What I'll tell you about in a minute. Maybe I should tell you about that one first. Yeah, I will. Look, this one was on the 30th of the 4th, January, February, March, April, the 30th of April, 2020. My request to the Metropolitan Police, Barking and Dagenham Police, was I would like to know how much Barking and Dagenham Police have spent on informants in the last 7 years. Yeah, boom. Give me a load of fucking parts of the law saying, oh, yeah, why they can't answer it and that because there's evidence of harm in complying with it. But they've gone on to tell me about these, about what are called covert human intelligence sources. And I was surprised that they told me about this, but they did. And that's what a grass is called now. It's not an informant. In the industry, it's called a covert human intelligence source, a CHIS. Yeah, that's what they refer to them as, a CHIS. And then anyway, this was then on the 17th of December, I sent a request to Essex Police. Said in 2013, attempts were made to recruit me as a police informant at Grays Police Station after I was arrested for a drugs charge. At the time, I was a cocaine addict and in a prodromal phase of psychosis that was to officially surface in 2015. I no longer associate with active criminals because of the trouble I got myself in with that arrest. I also stay away from drugs and try and keep myself active with positive obligations, work, studies, etc. Since then, I have done some research into covert human intelligence sources. I previously sent a freedom of information request to the Metropolitan Police asking how much they spent on CHISs over a specified amount of time, but they said they could not answer. But I was assured by them there are a number of covert tactics available, and CHIS was only one of them. What other tactics do you use? And do you still recruit mentally ill drug addicts to provide you with information? It seems unethical. Anyway, they've answered it. They've said, having completed inquiries with Essex Police in request, and they've basically relied on the same part of the law that Metropolitan Police have, not to give me the information. But again, they've relied on the evidence of harm. They've said, as you will be aware, disclosure under the Freedom of Information Act is a release to the public at large. So the freedom of information, that's what Freedom of Information Act lets you do. If public authorities hold a certain bit of information, they can tell you. Yeah. If it's in the interest of the public. Yeah, for the public at large. Whilst questioning the motives of the applicant, confirming or denying that any information is held regarding the use of covert policing would show criminals what the capacity, tactical abilities and capabilities of the force are, allowing them to target specific areas of the UK to conduct their criminal/terrorist activities. Confirming or denying the specific circumstances in which the police service may or may not use covert policing tactics would lead to an increase of harm to coverting investigations and compromise law enforcement. This would be to the detriment of providing an efficient policing service and a failure in providing a duty of care to all members of the public. The threat from terrorism cannot be ignored, and it is well established that police forces use covert tactics and surveillance to get. Now, bear in mind that my request was nothing to do with terrorism. It was to do with I was arrested on a drugs charge. Like, the threat of terrorism cannot be ignored, and that is well established, and that police forces use covert tactics and surveillance to gain intelligence in order to counteract criminal behaviour. As such, has been previously documented in the media that many terrorist incidents have been thwarted due to intelligence gained by their means. Now, listen, I'm not arguing that informants ain't a good idea. If I was in charge of a police force, I would want informants. It's the only way. It's the only way an effective police force can really run. But remember, I'm not asking about terrorism, am I? I'm asking about drugs, like. And look, anyway, confirming or denying that Essex Police hold any other information in relation to covert policing tactics would limit operational capabilities, as criminals/terrorists would gain a greater understanding of the police force's methods and techniques, enabling them to take steps to counter them. It may also suggest the limitations of police capabilities in this area, which may further encourage criminal terrorist activity by exposing potential vulnerabilities. This detrimental effect is increased if the request is made to several different law enforcement bodies. And that's what I've done. Like, why are you saying that? I've already told you that I've sent the freedom of information to the Metropolitan Police.
Yeah,
in addition to the local fraternity, now being better informed, those intent on organised crime throughout the UK will be able to map where the use of certain tactics are or are not deployed. This could be useful information to those committing crimes. It would have the likelihood of identifying location-specific operations which would ultimately compromise police tactics, operations and future prosecutions as criminals could counteract the measures used against them. Now, that is a good answer. That is a good answer she's given there. But, however, it's not the answer I want. Any information identifying the focus of policing activity could be used to the advantage of terrorists or criminal organisation. Information that undermines the operational integrity of these activities will adversely affect public safety and have a negative impact on both national security and law enforcement. Now, listen, wait, hang on, look, what's this bit? Section 24, national security, then it goes into factors favouring confirmation or denial, and they're saying, look, we can either confirm or deny it. Section 31, law enforcement, then they go on to say why they can't neither confirm nor deny it. Then they use what's called a balancing test. It says at the bottom of it, therefore, at this moment in time, it is our opinion that for these issues, the balance test for neither confirming nor denying of information is held appropriate. No inference can be taken from this refusal that information does or does not exist. Thank you for your interest in Essex Police. Kind regards. But however, listen, what she showed me on what they directed me to on the first page was a link. Here, and if you go on, if someone screams, look, I'll do it. Share screen.
Go for it, mate.
Right. Share screen. Application window. Right. StreamYard. Right. So can you see that? Can you see the Independent now? Can you see this news thing that I'm sharing?
Add to screen. There you go, mate.
Yeah. Can you see it? Right,
yeah.
Right, I'm just seeing if this is so you can see me screen. Watch this. Google.co.uk. Police. What's happening there? Police.
That's your other screen, mate.
Oh well, you're not seeing Google, no?
Yeah, police surveillance. You just
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, put this CHIS. And look, boom, covert surveillance and property interference. That's one PDF, and this one is the CHIS Code of Practice. And you won't believe what the shit it says. It's 65 pages. Look, covert human intelligence sources revised Code of Practice. Look, I ain't going to go into it. I just want to show you how to find it so that everyone can look at the document. I'm just going to show you the content. Scope of covert human intelligence source activity to which this code applies. Covert human intelligence sources, definition and examples. Now, they use these in civil law as well as criminal law. So don't think it's just for criminal law. It is for civil law as well. Let me show you this one. This is interesting. Where is it? Protection of the identity of the chiz. People who take on the role of the chiz may place themselves at considerable risk, while their continued cooperation is of great importance to the effectiveness of investigation and law enforcement work. All organisations have a responsibility to protect the identity of individuals working as chiz and others who may be affected by the disclosure of the chiz's identity. That ain't what I wanted to show you anyway. The thing was that I wanted to show you was, says about online chizes. Let me find, because I've got a printed copy of it here. Let me find it in my own, then I know where to look. But this is the code of practice for how they use grasses. Vulnerable individuals. Fucking hell, vulnerable individuals. Handling material errors, serious errors, joint working, handlers and controllers. I've heard of online covert activity, page 23. Yeah, what's this one? Online covert activity. Now, what you need to think is, within these words, what can you envisage with all of these activities? Online covert activity. Any member of a public authority or person acting on their behalf who conducts activity on the internet in such a way that may interact with others, whether by publicly open websites such as an online news or social networking service, or more private exchanges such as e-messaging sites, in circumstances where the other parties could not reasonably expected to know their true identity, should consider whether the activity requires a chiz authorization. Yeah, a directed surveillance authorization should also be considered. Look, someone such as an employee, that's what I mean, that's talking about civil law. And I'd imagine that here, public is talking about criminal, because criminal law is public law. It's tasked by a public authority, such as the police, to use an internet profile to establish or maintain a relationship with a subject of interest for a covert purpose, or otherwise undertake such activity on behalf of the public authority in order to obtain as to information. A chiz authorization is likely to be required, for example, an investigator using the internet to engage with a subject of interest, that means a person, at the start of an operation in order to ascertain information or facilitate a meeting in person. Look, this is all out there for you. Like, I can't be bothered to go into it. Like, you know what I mean? It's all out there, though. Look, Bobbers, that's all you. This is this first one. That first one. Look, that's what you Google. That's what you Google, and that first one is about property interference, and that's like about when I haven't really looked into that one, but property interference, I'd imagine that they're talking about using your phone and the Regulatory Investigations Power Act 2016, which gives them the right to interfere with your communications, to listen to them. Big Brother's watching, motherfuckers. And that's all I have to say, J-Man.
Of course they have, mate. They've been doing this for a long time, as we know. You know, they're coming about.
Before that regulation, before the Regulatory Investigation Powers Act 2016, in that they're talking about chizzes. Before that, it was the Regulatory Investigation Powers Act 2000, and that's the one that's the one they tried to do me under in 2013, and they was fucking they pushed their luck, mate, and they come up. Motherfucker.
Pretty crazy, to be fair, mate. Yeah. So before that, it's now lawful for them to basically jump on and do what they want.
What?
Is it basically what you've just said there? Is that giving them powers to do what they want when they want?
Listen. All they do is they don't listen. Imagine it like this: you and Billy Bob, yeah. Billy Bob gets nicked for being in possession of 10 grams of gear. They put him in and say, look, you're nicked for possession. You're going to jail for this. It's a fucking prisonable offence. It's certain you're going to jail.
Yeah.
Your only option is this, to cooperate. You know what I mean? Do you want to take the deal, or do you want to go to court? Do you want this to go to court? You know what I mean? And they know when people are vulnerable. And I was vulnerable at the time. They knew I was fucking smoking crack and that. They knew, you know what I mean? I was in a lot of trouble and that. But they were saying to me, we know you've got a good phone. We know you're very popular. It pulls in the interview tape. Sounds to me like, but it was a picture of me in a petrol garage. That was the only evidence they put in front of me, a picture of me in a petrol garage. So what the fuck is this like? You know what I mean? And then they kept on coming in the police cell and that, asking me, saying like, reconsider, you're in a lot of trouble, right? And I'm saying no. And then my solicitor was coming in, trying to say to me, look, it's in your best interest. And I said, no, like, it's a picture of me in a petrol garage. Then what they done? They threw me in front of the magistrates and said to me, plead guilty or not guilty. I said, it's a picture of me in a petrol garage, putting petrol in my car. I'm not guilty. You know what I mean? And they sent me to prison. And then what happened was the next day is, and this is the process that happens. And the next day, it went, there was a hearing at Crown Court, and the Crown Court weren't satisfied with what the magistrate had done. And then my barrister said, look, let me ask his family if they can make a bail deal. And what I had to do, my sister put up 10 grand of surety. I had a tag on my foot, passport taken away. I had to sign on at a police station, weren't allowed in Dagenham. And they let me have bail. But you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like they tried to put it on me. Which is what they do with loads of them. Like, think of it like this. If you know a thief who has been out thieving regularly, he's an active thief. He's out thieving for 20 years. You're going to be very surprised if he hasn't got a jail story to tell you. Yeah, but I know people who have been selling Class A drugs for fucking years. You know what I mean? Being so blasé about it and fucking, you know what I mean? So it's such common knowledge that they're drug dealers. Chrissy Morris is one, for example. Chrissy Morris is a perfect example.
Yeah, but if they're in the right pockets, the right people.
Yeah, they're in the right pockets. They've got to get out of jail free cards. And if you look up that CHIS code of conduct, that code of practice, it gives you all the things in there. The other day I see something in there and it said, it basically said if the CHIS acts out of accordance with what they're entitled to do, we need to think about the circumstances in which they acted in that way and maybe give them a bit of leeway because of the obligations that they've got. I thought, what the fuck is this like? You know what I mean? In the Metropolitan Police Freedom of Information request, it's saying, we have to protect our CHISs. And I'm thinking, well, what about the people who don't want to work for you? What about the people who decline to work for you and take their odds at the court? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's not right. Like, I don't think it's right. Dirty bastards.
Crazy. Wasp, have you come across a lot of cases where like they've had like one image or
listen. Go on. Let me go and get beer anyway. Sorry, man.
Sound. Wasp. Oh, he's not there.
I've been saying no.
Go on.
No, I haven't said anywhere. You know what I mean? Where it's just been like one photograph.
Yeah.
But it's just a cheeky cunt anyway. You know, I don't link anything together, so he got a good result.
Yeah. In the end, I'm hoping Danny will be done with that video tomorrow. He's probably going to do it on your live, Wasp.
Not bothered. I didn't mean it that way. I mean, I'll always show Danny's videos. They're funny as fuck, mate.
Yeah, they are brilliant. To be fair, brilliant.
I can't see fucking it turning up, and I can't see it going on too long. Because
what with what's his name and what's her name? Yeah.
To be perfectly honest with you, and unless Captain's got something new, there's nothing new. You know what I mean? But you know, because everyone thinks I'm a bit of a cunt for Captain, which I have at times. He can just wade in. But no,
you're fair though, aren't you? You're a cunt with everyone.
Oh yeah, to be fair. To be fair.
No, what's it about anyway? I heard Captain's come on tonight. What is it actually about? What's that? What was it? What's the update?
Oh, I haven't got a clue.
Can you first interview, man? Captain come on tonight?
No, I thought it was being done on shells. I thought it was. I'm
sure. Right.
Yeah, that's over on shells.
But some reason. But I got told last night there's a few people boycotting him. So after tomorrow, we'll join the boycott club.
Who's that in regards of?
Big boy.
All right, yeah. Big H.
Yeah.
He made a good point in the chat, didn't he, about H? Let's scroll it back. Hang on.
Who did?
Who farted?
Oh,
Phil,
what the
Phil is
vulnerable-
vulnerable and would cave in. Why does he want to meet strangers off the internet? Good point. Compared to what just Popolot just read out. I mean,
Well, he's probably wanting to set people up for a fall again so he can get something out of it, the scamming fucker. Do you know what I mean? That's how he works.
caved in and is he working for them? You know what I mean? Is he a grass?
Tintin, police overstretched at the minute, criminals paradise.
Well, that is everyone's fucking at home, mate. That's the problem. You can't burgle shit.
Everything's coming through the mail. Okay, now.
You'd have thought there'd have been a lot more fucking robberies though, because it's illegal to go into a fucking shop now without a mask on, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, what's happened? It's all gone down. That's weird. Fuck's that all about? You'd have thought, bank robberies would have gone up, this, that, and the other would have gone up. You can get away wearing a fucking helmet in a bank and that.
Yeah.
Crazy. Very strange. Yeah, if you look at figures, like it's actually down, not up.
Fucking sick of it all.
I thought, to be fair, that the police wouldn't be stretched. They'd have more, more police on the beat, but I haven't seen any on the streets.
It's on furlough.
yeah, true. I've seen a lot.
If you got a warrant for your arrest, they know exactly where you are.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Everyone's gone home.
I've seen a lot of posts from my local area that they've been staking out places like country parks and stuff. So people are rolling into this country park, rolling down to the car park, and then realizing, shit, there's cops there, and I'm pulled now. Just for turning up there and asking questions about why you're there, this, that, and the other. It's nuts. It's fucking nuts. People are wanting to go for a fucking walk out in the country air, like, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Hey, Danny, let me ask you a question, right? I mentioned it before. When I went to bed last night, I just went through them, like notifications, shit like that. I keep getting these notifications from Devon. Could have spent a bit of time down there. I still keep getting notifications from down there. And something grabbed my attention. It was there's a on Tor Bay, you've got Torquay, Peyton, and then you've got just round the other side of the bay, it's called Brixham. And they have a big, I never knew about it until I seen this notification, and they have a big pirate festival, 160,000 people go every year. So that's May, that's been cancelled.
Yeah.
And there's another one which has been cancelled in June, which means the question I'm getting to, if they're fucking vaccinated every cunt now, right? These vaccines are that good. Why are these fucking events cancelled fucking months and months down the line?
Good point. Why aren't the people saying, look, you can come, here's the vaccination as you're going? You could do 160 vaccinations right there, man.
Do you not think they're going to do that as soon as they start opening things up? Then you don't think they're going to do that? They are.
Oh, yeah. The green card's coming in it. The vaccination card, or whatever you want to call it. I'm clear card, whatever the fuck it's called. That's coming. Oh, definitely coming, mate. Remember, they wanted an ID card years and years ago. We wouldn't allow it, would we? We kicked off. But what they've done, they've used this opportunity to go, you know what? Here's your ID card. It's fucking coming right now. That's what I think, anyway. That's what I think.
Yeah. It's like I heard there's a new vaccine now. Is it Mexico or fucking Brazil or somewhere like that? That this new strain of the virus. And then I've read there's another one tonight in Korea somewhere where they, you know what I mean? No, this is what I mean. What's the point of these vaccines? If they're claiming that there's these all new fucking mysterious strains of it, well, pack in with the fucking shit you've got now.
That could be other countries looking at our our government's business model, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Go, well, look what UK did. They said there's a strain. All of a sudden, it all got locked down and blah, 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 blah. If we say there's a strain in our country, maybe they'll listen. Maybe they'll lock it all down again. I don't know. Maybe it's just them looking at the UK going, fuck it, we'll try that. Try that.
Yeah, it could be, but I doubt it very much. You know what I mean? Weird shit. Fucking weird shit.
Shah's just put up IG man with neighbours at the minute, shared house, so having a drink. What's the legalities behind that? Would it being a shared house? Would it class as under one roof or?
Can someone phone the police?
Oh,
they're all separate. In a shared house, each room would be a separate dwelling, I'm guessing.
It don't matter.
Yeah, but
they can all hang out the windows like they do in fucking Stranger Ways and Walton.
Yeah, you'd probably be right, Shah, to be fair. Okay, though.
I don't know what the guidelines are, mate. To be honest, I don't even fucking watch it or look at it anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the legalities of that one. To be fair,
I just sit in the middle of my room all day. I just sit down on my ass in the middle of the room. Don't look out the window. Can't do nothing wrong then, can you?
Well, you Tintin, I thought they were banning all flights anyway, so-called. I've not heard the South Africa, but I have heard of other places that they have.
Well said there.
Well, imagine this. Imagine if it was because we've left the EU and they're trying to disguise it and that's the freedom of movement gone. They're trying to blag it up. You know what I mean? Saying it's a virus. Yeah. We're the only country fucking left on. We're the only country who's had a third lockdown, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah. Valid point.
Fucking embarrassing.
Valid point there, Ruth. Australia can vaccinate the entire population by October 25th. 500,000. How long to vaccinate the whole UK?
That's 25.5 million. 25.5 million, he means.
25.5.
I doubt, honestly, if they get that done by October, fucking fair play to them. I very much doubt that, like, because I remember half of Australia are like us. They're saying, "Fuck you, we ain't getting vaccinated." So I doubt they're going to do that. Like.
Have you been vaxxed yet, Dan?
Not yet. No, I'm not in the catch bracket. They won't do me. I'm under 50.
Are you up for it though, Danny? Are you up for it?
I will have it done. Yeah, I will have it done.
Listen, I'll tell you why I'm going to have it done, and I've changed my mind. At first, I was thinking, fuck that fucking vaccine. Yeah, like, I ain't having that shit. Like fucking 6 months to make and that. I ain't tested it. And then I started seeing that meme going about. You know the meme where it says about like, oh yeah, look, fucking so-and-so from the estate says they won't have the vaccine, but every weekend they're sticking everything up their nose from whoever. Yeah. I'm a bit of an hypocrite then. If I'm the same way inclined to use recreational drugs, I can't really complain about a professional's vaccine, can I?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
no. It's got to be where you've got no choice. Totally different, but.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. They're creating obligations. They're creating obligations where what they're doing is they're creating for what you want. So, for example, if you like, from what I've read is going to happen, if you want to go to another country, you've got to have been vaccinated for COVID. Yeah. Right? That's how they're going to implement it. Yeah, and that is how they're going to get the consent. And that, like, even though it's shit to do that. At the end of the day, if you know what I mean, that is fucking. It's clever. It's fucking clever. You know what I mean? No, because what they're doing, they're undoing a massive part. They're undoing a massive part of law. If you go on the NHS website now, it tells you on there any vaccine you have to consent to it. It says it on the NHS website.
I reckon. What 2022, you'll have to, before you can fly out of the country, you'll have to show you had a vaccine.
Well, this is what they're going to do. They're going to make it. What I reckon they're going to do, and I don't know for a fact, but like, there's a thing in law called custom and practice. That's where things, if something becomes so normal, it becomes law. Like for example, I'll give you the perfect example. Who taught you to go into a sweet shop and pick up a Mars bar and take it to the counter and not have to say to the cashier, "Hello there, I'd like to buy this Mars bar." You don't do that in a sweet shop. You just pick up the Mars bar and you go and put it on the counter, give her the money and walk out. You don't even mention anything about buying. That's because it's custom and practice to just go in there, pick up the Mars bar, put it on the counter and give her the money without having to say, "Oh, well, hello there, I see you've got this Mars bar for sale. How much?" You know what I mean? You don't do that. That's because it's become custom and practice. And I think that's what they're trying to do with the vaccine. they're trying to make it so that it's like if a massive majority consent to it because it's more convenient for them to have the vaccine, then they're going to have the argument. Well, a massive majority, you know what I mean? Like, and that's how they're going to do it. Like, what they're doing is like there's a big fucking case law. There's a big famous case law. You can go on the OU website and do the course about mental health and the law. It's a free course you can do. It's just like a snippet of their law degree, and it tells you about a case in there. And it's in the case of R, and it's at 1990. If you type in R 1990, and what's it to do with? Like, what the case was about? It was this woman when it was to do with false sterilisation. And she was in a hospital. She'd been in a hospital since she was like a young adult. And what she was in a car crash and it gave her mental health problems. It gave her severe mental health problems afterwards. She was in a car crash when she was about 3 or 4 or something, like really young. And then her parents cared for her up till she was like a young adult, and then they had to put her into a fucking hospice or something. And like, what happened in the hospice was she met another patient who was also like fucking fucked up or whatever, disabled, like. And they started having sex. And then what the doctors wanted to do was sterilise her. They said, look, we can't stop them having sex. We want to sterilise her so that she don't get pregnant. Because if she gets pregnant, it's just an extra burden, like, when it can be prevented. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, making a baby. But in that situation, it's not so, you know what I mean? You'd rather it not happen. Surely that's the right thing. But so what the doctor's done, instead of like what you fucking probably, they fucking... they sterilise her. No, they didn't. What they done is they applied to a court because they knew she couldn't consent. She was mental, so therefore she couldn't consent. And they said to the court, like, look, we think it's in the best interest to sterilise her. And all the family were against it, and that I think the family were against it, but the court said, like, it's in the best interest, like, you know what I mean? What's going to happen if she gets pregnant? What's going to happen to the child? She can have another child after, like, you know what I mean? There's no stopping to how many, you know what I mean? It's obvious you got to sterilise her, and the court said, like, sterilise her. It's called the case of it's RE space then open brackets R close brackets 19 no sorry RE dot R open brackets 1990 close brackets. If you Google that, you'll find it. Type in like sterilisation or something at the end of it. That case law will come up.
Right. Interesting.
You know what I mean? So that shows you that the law is firmly on the side of people consenting.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? For it to go all the way to the fucking high court or whatever. Don't even think it went to the Court of Appeal or anything. Everything, it was just in the high court. And you know what I mean? And the NHS are fucking. The NHS are, look, it was like the thing like with my dad, he just fucking died, didn't he? Stage 4 cancer. And when we had the palliative care come round, I said to her, listen, I'm going in the chemist. I said, there's all CBD oil in there now. I said, what's all, like, they're telling me it's for cancer patients. She said, well, yeah, she said it is, but your dad's got stage 4 now. She said, like, if you want to use the CBD and the cannabis oil, she went, go and get them and use them. She went, we're not going to stop you doing that. We're not going to advise against it. So however, we have got some other medicines that are tried and tested and that can ease these symptoms. And then fucking, I said, all right, sweet. And then fucking, you know what I mean? I'm talking to the NHS about cannabis oil and that, and they're saying, look, it's stage 4. If you want to use it, use it. You know what I mean? You're not going to get in trouble for using it, like, you know what I mean? It's the end of life. If he believes in that, then let him use it, like. But it was stage 4. It was too fast growing, like. Do you know what I mean?
Crazy.
But what I'm trying to say is you see, like, how people say, oh yeah, the doctors don't want you to know and that about it. But in fact, like, you know what I mean? It's them same doctors who have studied, done everything, you know what I mean? And that was what she said. She said, yeah, if you want to use it, then use it. So however, I've got some other drugs here that will ease your dad's suffering, like. Boom, yeah, use them drugs then, like. We use the cannabis oil and the CBD oil, none of it worked. You know what I mean? But that is the, see, all conspiracy theories, and this is what I believe, all conspiracy theories have a seed of truth wrapped up in loads and loads of bullshit. And the conspiracy around cannabis oil curing cancer, I believe, at this point, I think there is something to it because there's studies that say the cannabis oil, the THC oil kills cancer cells. Like there's actual studies that conclude to that. So I do think there is something to it. But at the moment, I don't think any fucking Tom, Dick, or Harry can make some cancer or can make some cannabis oil and cure someone's cancer. You know what I mean? What I think it actually does is, I think it alleviates a cancer patient's symptoms. And that's exactly how the pharmacist. That's exactly how the pharmacist is selling it here. Now, for example, my old man, within a couple of days, he started developing these hiccups. But these hiccups, when you're in stage 4 cancer, they're a fucking nuisance and they were painful for him. You know what I mean? And that's when we started talking to him about the CBD and the cannabis oil and that. He said, look, we've got these other. No, it didn't. It didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. But then at the same time, his cancer was stage 4. Like it was, you know what I mean? It was stage 4. Stage 4 is defined as days, weeks, or months you've got left. That's the category you're in. Days, weeks, or months. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Okay, hell, man.
Yeah, cannabis ain't going to do a lot from that stage.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not putting a dampener on it because the only reason I'm not putting a dampener on it is because I know that studies exist that show the THC compounds kill cancer compounds. I know them studies exist. You know what I mean? And that's what like. But I'm just saying, like, fucking. You know what I mean? Maybe if you got any of us making a medicine like that, we're only ever going to be able to make a low quality version of it. So we're not going to know the full ins and outs of making a high quality version of it unless we've done it for years.
Yeah, like
I mean?
most vaccines, you know, they take 6 to 10 years to develop, you know, and some a lot longer. So throwing out in fucking 8-9 months is just it's crazy.
Do you know what wouldn't be a bad fucking thing for them to do? Show how the vaccine works. Show people how the vaccine works in a video, like an animation or something. Show them, look, this is how the vaccine works. This is what's happening when the vaccine enters your body. But they just have it like, yeah, we've got the vaccine now. Come and get this vaccine. Like, well, what's in it? Show us what's fucking in it.
Trust us, yeah. We'll lie to you about everything else, but trust us on this. As we're scientists, trust us. You know, yeah, the government and the media have thrown all this out.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying about when you're saying trust us. When you're saying trust us, now you've got to imagine. Now think of all the students all around the world studying medicine. That when this virus has started, their ears have perked up. Yeah, their ears have perked up. There's a new fucking deadly virus. All intelligent fuckers. Yeah, and these are intelligent fuckers, and you got to think of the amount of them that there are studying medicine. They've all got into teams, and they was racing to develop the first vaccine. And who done it? It was the boys at Oxford. Boys at Oxford done it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's such a big fucking conspiracy, which I don't doubt they're adding numbers to the COVID totals. I don't doubt that for a fucking second. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. They're just not transparent. If the government was transparent, there wouldn't be any problems. But they're not transparent, and that's the problem.
Because they can't be transparent if they're just fucking bullshitting every cunt.
Yes.
Well, that's the art of the politician, isn't it? That's the art of the. In this law degree, I'm learning, Russ, about the EU and that. It's fucking. I'm on the fence with the EU now. I was a firm leaver. I was thinking, fuck the EU. We don't need it. But now I've learned what the EU is. I'm sort of on the fence thinking, well, hang on a minute, this ain't such a bad thing because our country is constantly bullshitting us. And if we have a higher authority to go and complain to, it might not be that bad. But you know what I mean? Like, but he's shown me things on there, like myths about the EU. He's talking about the politicians, how the politicians lied and deceived the public about what was really happening, like, you know what I mean? And then he didn't even refer to this, but he referred to this one thing. There was a thing, I shared it on my Facebook the other day. It said 10 myths about the EU, and that's what the Open University showed me. They said, look at this. This is factual, right? And he said about the thing, you remember when they were saying about, oh, yeah, we're paying 350 million a week to join the EU? That was a lie. That was a complete lie, but it was common knowledge. It was common knowledge that we was paying 350 million a week to be in the EU, but we wasn't. And the simple response to it was, the joining fee is 120 million a week. That's the joining fee that every member state has to pay. You know what I mean? And what was it? Of the thing about Nigel Farage when he says, "Oh yeah, the EU make our laws." The EU don't make our laws. The EU makes laws that are good for individuals. They like protect workers' rights, consumer rights. You know what I mean? They're doing things that are for the benefit of the individuals. But and what all the member states have to do, not just England, all the other members who are also joining into the EU, there are 27 countries, they have to make a piece of legislation that coincides with what the legislation they've put out. So ain't the EU making our laws, it's for the benefit of the individual, like, do you know what I mean? And I don't know, I'm only halfway through learning about the EU. I'm sure it'll teach me all the fucking bad shit about it as well, right? But what all the member states have to do, not just England.
Someone mute up.
27 countries.
You're right, Dad. Welcome to the stream. You're right, Dad. Welcome.
Let me in and let me listen.
Okay, cool.
So ain't the EU making our laws? Someone's on YouTube.
Dad, you need to mute your YouTube up, dude, when you come on. Newbie.
Who's this? Your dad?
Yes, mate. Yeah.
What, your real one, or the other 5 you were telling us about?
I know. He may as well be my dad, mate. May as well be. Dad, if you want to say out, you need to mute. You want to say out, Dad? Come on. He's listening to you too. All right, cool. Danny, what you about to play, mate?
Able to trigger an immune response.
Yeah, what's this? Look at this. Our vaccine, Brady. Yeah, boom.
They are usually activated or killed virus particles taken from various circulating influenza strains. Inactive fractioned viral components contain the subvirion particles hemagglutinin, HA, and neuraminidase, NA. In Canada, influenza vaccines are administered via intramuscular injection. These fractioned particles containing the foreign antigens hemagglutinin and neuraminidase are released from the vaccine into the bloodstream. There, they are met with an immune response mediated by various immune cells, including macrophages, T lymphocytes or T cells, and B lymphocytes or B cells. A major mechanism of action involves macrophage phagocytosis of hemagglutinin, breaking it into smaller components. After ingestion, macrophages display the hemagglutinin antigen on their surface in combination with a specific receptor known as the major histocompatibility complex, or MHC. T cells are now able to recognize and bind.
It's like high school DNA stuff,
the basics of it, like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
GCSE stuff, really. But it just showed there was an animation that it's just G said there's animated. It'd be good if it put. Sorry, not G. Bob Scott said there'd be a good animation to show how vaccine work, and this is like it does show how vaccine works and what.
Yeah.
Does anyone on this channel? I'll put a challenge to everyone now. Give you 5 gold stars if you can tell me where the first vaccines were actually developed from.
Without googling, no, I wouldn't have a clue.
I don't know where they. I'd imagine it was for polio, wouldn't it?
You're getting close.
Polio.
I presume it's before polio.
Tuberculosis.
No, you're getting close. We haven't cured tuberculosis. It's still a problem. We've just suppressed it.
Is it mumps?
You know why it's still a problem? We did cure it with vaccines. But then what happened was commercial flights started happening, and then you started getting all immigration fucking going mental.
No,
and it's the poor countries. Tuberculosis is a poor country's disease. There's diseases of affluence, such as heart attacks and cancer, which are the diseases of affluence, which are the biggest killers in rich countries. And there's diseases of poverty, such as hepatitis, tuberculosis.
There are certain conditions.
Hang on. Bob, just turn your mic down a little bit, mate.
Sorry, mate. I'll sit back a little bit.
I don't know how to do that.
Bobs, turn it down on your. Are you on your laptop or computer?
Yeah.
Laptop.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah.
I'll take the earphones out. Is that better?
I'll speak quieter. But I'm asking the question: where were vaccines developed from?
Tetanus.
Is that better?
There's plenty of medical evidence.
That's better.
If I said cows, would that give you a clue?
Cows.
What, foot and mouth?
MRSA.
No, before that. I mean,
Cat-
I'm going way back.
What?
Way
My cow
back now.
disease. My cow disease.
1940s,
Foot and mouth.
1930s.
Foot and mouth.
Cowpox.
Just tell us the answer. You've wasted enough time.
Cowpox.
Cowpox.
I never knew there was a cowpox.
Yeah, because the maids.
Smallpox.
Oh yeah, smallpox. Yeah.
Smallpox.
Because they'd already
Ah.
smallpox. No, it's specifically cowpox, but that's how we came about vaccines. So vaccines
Right.
work. It's just about the scientists knowing what is the
How it
next
works.
strain. You know, like in the news at the moment, you've got the Brazilian variant and the Argentinian variant going on, and they're talking about that.
All right. Okay. Interesting.
Oh,
I'll have to do a bit of research on that.
Yeah, you need to. So this is how vaccines work. Like I had a letter through the door today. I'm 55, okay, and I've had a letter saying you need to be vaccinated against flu. But that's all about the World Health Authority and all the other international organisations keeping an eye on what's going on in the world with vaccines, and they then try to develop a vaccine that is effective against the most prevalent flu that's going around the planet.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like COVID, you know, that's why they're scrambling to draw a vaccine. I just noticed the header to your show was about vaccines. I just wondered what people knew about vaccines.
A vaccine is created within the body by whatever it is that's bothering the body. It's not fucking created in labs at all. It's all
Listen,
shit.
there's no variant.
No, I've not interrupted you once.
Bots.
Right, and you fucking you banged into it. Tintin came up with a good comment just a few minutes ago. You know what I mean? Why is there not a vaccine for fucking AIDS? Why is there not a vaccine for cancer? Why is there not no vaccines? 60 years they've been looking to create something to cure AIDS, right? And they haven't. Right? Don't believe all this shit. And as far as putting cartoons up, there's as many cartoons out there which are animated, which is just the reverse of that. And all these people that go to all these people that are going to medical school, that you're what you were big, Bob, all they're doing it. They're not clever because they're repeating what they've been told. That's fucking really dumb.
No, you're wrong there. You're wrong. Science, that ain't what science is. That isn't what science is.
All right. I'm really wrong. Yeah.
Look up the definition of science.
Why would I want to look up the definition of science?
Because that's what we're talking about.
Okay, all right.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay, but let's talk about natural science. Natural science, Bob. Not science. Natural science.
It's the same thing. I'd argue it's the same
What
thing.
is it?
Science. Science is science. Science is something where you can replicate an experiment.
Science has got absolutely fuck all to do with whoever's making vaccines to inject everyone. Natural science has got nothing to do with it. In fact, I reckon natural
So
science.
what is natural science? What is natural science compared to normal science?
Well, natural science is something what you observe. Have you observed a virus? You ever seen one?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. The definition of science. The definition of science is where you observe something and it produces the same results again and again and again and again.
But we can't observe an invisible fucking disease, can we?
But you can observe the growth that it's come from.
No, you can observe that what would be called an effect of something if you could fucking see it. If it was there, then it's there. Do you believe the figures? Do you believe the figures?
No, I don't, and I've said that, Russ. I don't know if you've been listening, but I've said that I don't believe the figures. I don't believe the figures. I do think there is something wrong with it. I do think there's something fundamentally wrong with it, and that's why I'm saying if they was just more transparent about it. You're saying about a cartoon ain't going to say anything, but what my argument was, what my point was, they're not showing people they're not pushing the information out how the vaccine works or anything. They're just saying, "Oh, hello, we've got a vaccine now. Come and get it." You know what I mean? Like, that's what my argument is. I'm fully with you. The fact of the matter is this, Rose. One of my friends who works in palliative care, she told me the other day. Now, you know full well my dad got diagnosed with cancer, but on his death certificate, there's a very, very good chance it's going to say he died of COVID. Because what happened was, a couple of days before, my mum started showing COVID symptoms, then she went to hospital and got diagnosed with COVID. Now, me and you both know he didn't fucking die of COVID. You know what I mean? I do think there is something very wrong with the figures, and that's what my argument is about the transparency. They're not being transparent about it. Why are we the only country on a fucking third lockdown?
Fucking mad. And we're not coming out of it, mate. That's
you know what I mean. And even that, my mum going to hospital, we get diagnosed with COVID. She went in there with a chest infection, though. How can they say, yeah, you've got a chest infection and it's COVID? Like, what? Well, hang on a minute. A chest infection is, you've just said it's a chest infection and you've added on the COVID, like I don't trust the COVID thing, but that's what I'm saying. There's something fucking weird going on, like. There's something, the way they've undone the law. I said about the case law a minute ago about where they wanted to sterilise a woman and the doctors had to go to the courts to ask to do it. You know what I mean? It is a fundamental principle in law. It's not just vaccinations, it's all medical treatment. All medical treatment, you have to consent to it. You know what I mean? Unless there's only two things where you can't consent to it. That's where if say you've just been stabbed in the fucking throat or something, and someone has to fucking put their hands on you to stop the blood pouring out your neck or whatever, that they won't get in trouble for that then if they've tried to save you. And the other variant is if someone's mental. If someone's mental, they're not compass mentis. They can't think for themselves like that. You know what I mean? They're the only times medical treatment can be forced on you. But it's such a big fundamental thing of law that medical treatment is by consent. But now we're going through this big transition phase where they're making a vaccine. They're obligating everyone to get this vaccine. And I'm one of the ones who's willing to have it, guys. So I'm one of the ones willing to have it, guys.
I've got no problem with anybody fucking having a vaccine. It's their fucking choice. I've just got problems with people telling me and other people that they have to fucking have one.
Yeah. That's what happens to people. You know that Cassie Sunshine?
Yeah.
I see her the other day. She put up a post saying, "Oh yeah, people were." She's saying, "Oh, I'm telling people not to have the vaccine and that." Said, "I hope they get fucking side effects." Said, "I hope they get side effects from it." I'm coming in. I said, "What do you mean you hope they get side effects from it?" I said, "If someone wants to have the vaccine, that's their fucking choice, isn't it? If someone wants to have it, then you can't argue with them. And it's the same both ways. It's the same if someone don't want to have it. You know what I mean? But that's the transition that's happening. They're creating so many obligations. They're making it an obligation for you to get the vaccine. The law doesn't have to have anything to do with it. The obligations of public services have to do with it. You know what I mean? And that is a fucker. That is a fucker, like, you know what I mean? But it's fucking clever as well. The way they've done it, the way they've managed to tie it up, and it's going to work. It will work. You know what I mean? It's going to work. Not with everyone. I'm not saying everyone's going to have it, but I'm saying with the massive majority who don't really understand all the principles at stake here, such as your fucking right to a decision. You know what I mean? Like, you know?
Yeah, fucking. Well, we're just all being told what to fucking do.
Yeah.
I fully get that.
Yo, Boppy, just turn your mic down on your lap a bit more, mate.
For fuck's sake, shall I leave it?
No. This is really, really loud, mate. It's overbearing for everybody else.
Can't you turn it down? You're the moderator.
Can't turn your mic down, mate. I can mute you, and that's it.
Oh, wait, I might be able to. There's an icon here.
There you go.
I ain't going to all my settings. I've got to go into all my settings in there. Nah, I can't be asked. You're going to have to deal with the live version of me.
Fucking hell, son. Were you gonna jump in and say something, Dad?
No, I just want you to unmute me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, that'll do. I'm just listening.
Cool.
I'll jump in when I feel I've got a point to make.
Yeah, that's cool.
Carl, what do you think about what me and Russell were just talking about?
I've only just arrived in on the scene. I was off collecting a beer, but I'll keep listening.
Well, what happened was on Friday night, I sold Russ a packet of cocaine for 50 quid. He sniffed it and then he said he didn't like it. Yeah?
No.
Now I want my fucking money back off him, but he sniffed again. He's saying it weren't good enough. So, like, we were in a bit of a dispute here.
Shut up, pal.
Who's in a dispute?
All right. So you haven't got much data then, have you not, Joseph? And you're just starting about, huh? Bullshit.
He's loitering.
I call it bullshit, Joseph. Starting.
Who's loitering?
Totally. Is that a 51-year-old man?
What do we reckon? Do we reckon that's what's his name? Yeah.
I don't know him.
No, do we not know him?
What's wrong with 51-year-old men?
Don't really want to.
This is regards to someone who has been going around threatening people, causing a lot of shit online. He's got a lot of fucking charges against him at the minute.
What? And he's 51.
Yeah. He's not attending to his wife. He likes to go and have affairs. Mr. Brian H, if you're listening.
Yeah, well, don't.
I thought you was talking about 7.
Yeah. Oh, fuck off.
I thought he was going to say, yeah, Mr. John Brown.
Yeah, well, he's been boycotted. He ain't coming on my platform. He's already banned.
Well, is he in trouble again?
He doesn't stop causing trouble and getting in trouble, so don't want him on my platform.
Any abusive behaviour is not a good idea. Discussion is everything. No.
We put people up where it's due. You know what I mean? That's the hive for you. This is the hive. We have our discussions, but if people need tearing a new one and putting in place, then they will be put in their place. That's how the hive works. We are all part of the hive.
I know, but there is a distinction between having a platform for free speech and having an echo chamber. Okay. If people are being nasty and they're building straw men or they're doing ad hominem attacks, fine, dump them. But if there's a perfectly legitimate position of point of view, that should be listened to.
Yeah.
Do we all agree on that? Otherwise, this forum doesn't mean anything. We've got to all have different points of view without the threat of being attacked.
Yeah. But fill you in.
Pay attention to those comments, Rick.
Yeah, listen, I've got a link here for him. Tell him to type this into Google. Tell him to type this into Google, yeah?
Well, you
type
can, mate.
Sue the NHS for misdiagnosis. Then the first results are ads. Then go past the ads and then go into the actual fucking website and look at all the ones. Look, Citizen Advice have got a thing. Clinical negligence in the NHS, taking legal actions. How much compensation can I claim for misdiagnosis?
Sorry, do you know what I said to that? Because you're quite vocal. And do you know what I'd say to that? Go and take the services of a solicitor. If it's not happened to you...
Yeah, do it yourself, man. But do you know the problem you've got doing it yourself? Shall I tell you the problem you've got doing it yourself? And this is Abraham Lincoln. If you Google this, Abraham Lincoln said this. Only a fool represents himself. Now, I've represented myself loads of times.
Well, I have too. I do
when you represent yourself, though, when you represent yourself, you have an emotional attachment to the claim, and that is very, very detrimental to the claim. Yeah, because you can't look at the claim. You can't look at the claim subjectively. You have to look at it objectively.
What you employ when you bring on the services of a barrister, and I'm going to be subtle here. Rick knows the point I'm going to make right now. What you employ when you bring on the service of a barrister or solicitor is the expertise. to give you a voice in an environment you are not used to.
Right.
Okay?
All right. I'll explain it. Give me a chance to explain it. Give me a minute, and I'll explain it to you. Because
to Richard now to just shut up and listen and let this man explain himself. Go on.
you want me to answer, yeah?
Yeah, explain yourself, like you said.
So a year ago, I was not on studying law. Yeah, I hated solicitors. My first time using a solicitor for family law, they tried to long out the process. Yeah, they tried to long out the process, and I didn't like it, and I sacked my solicitor in the first hearing. Yeah, and then what happened was, now listen, a solicitor and a barrister are two different professions. Yes. Do you agree to that a solicitor and a barrister are two different professions?
No, they're similar, but they have have different hierarchies and they have different.
Well, all right. So let me rephrase it. A solicitor and a barrister have different roles and responsibilities, completely different roles and responsibilities. Yes.
I wouldn't quite make it that black and white. No, because they're both acting in your interest.
But so is a salesman.
No, a salesman is acting for his own profit. I've done that myself. I've sold double glazing.
Yeah. I've sold. But a serious salesman would help you strike a deal, wouldn't
but
they?
you're moving to salesman now. Go back to the barrister. So you're making a point about.
But I think to be honest, you need to look up. I think you need to look up the difference between a solicitor and a barrister. A barrister is an advocate, whereas a solicitor is a researcher.
With all due respect, I find that slightly patronising in that you're assuming I don't already know that position. I'm 55 for the sake. I've fought my own cases throughout life, so you can express your position.
Yeah, so have I, mate. So have I.
But don't assume I'm ignorant of the facts.
All right, I won't. Tell me about the cases you've represented yourself in. Tell me what criminal trials you've represented yourself in.
I'm not going to divulge that over these.
All right. So don't go into the details. But have you represented yourself in criminal trials or civil trials?
Yes. Both.
In criminal trials where the charges are against you. Yes. All right, yeah, go on then. We're in the same boat.
That's why I follow people like Crime Bodge, because they educate me. And not only that,
so you
listen to me, dude. All right, when I was 18, 19, all right, and I used to go to lectures. She was a solicitor. My cousin's a barrister. I fought cases on behalf of my brother and my mother throughout my life. Things like power of attorney.
How did you fight cases on behalf of your brother and your mother?
It's all about. Say again.
Did you represent them in the court?
I've represented them and myself. I've got rid of some.
How did you represent them? How did you represent them and talk to the judge representing them?
Well, on my mother's behalf, I got power of attorney.
Who's talking now with you, Bob? Who's that guy talking? Is it your?
I don't know. Someone just started talking.
Is it your dad, G-Man?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I'm like, who is this? I don't even know him.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, that's me.
You did. You met me the other night, was so. Anyway, this is getting a bit heavy. I might just duck out and just have a listen to what you guys.
No. Listen, because we're having a good conversation here. Don't duck out because it's getting uncomfortable.
No, okay. As long as the group's happy with it, I don't want to.
Listen. Let me make this clear. The point of an argument, as far as I'm concerned, is for both parties to meet in the middle and understand each other. It ain't about proving who's right and who's wrong, right? You know what I mean?
An argument
by the end of it, we'll all understand each other's positions, right? Do you know what I mean? Like. But as far as I'm concerned, the position of a solicitor, the purpose of a solicitor is to prepare all the legal arguments for the barrister to advocate. Because to advocate an argument, you have to fucking think of it. It's a completely different profession, right? You know what I mean? And if you,
I could give you a good analogy. I could give you a good analogy. It's like when you want a kitchen fitting, you don't put it in yourself, but you employ someone to put the kitchen in just how you want.
Exactly. And now listen, I'll give you another analogy. That I used to one of my friends the other day. He said, "Yeah, but fucking hell, how can you know all this about the law?" I said, "No one knows all the law." I said, "You don't ask a fucking
indeed.
you don't ask a roof fitter to come round and build you a brick wall. Like
Exactly.
it's the same principle. All the barristers they specify in certain parts of the law. So you won't get a criminal barrister on Monday who goes into an employment tribunal on Tuesday. You know,
But I've been friends with a lot of solicitors. I've dated people who've been solicitors. I've got good friends with solicitors, and I'm not an expert in law, but I do a lot of like reading of legal papers. You can go and look them on .gov. Okay, on the .gov website.
Should I tell you what I've realised? This is what I've realised, yeah, and you will benefit from this. Whether you take it on board or not, it will benefit you, yeah. If you listen to what I'm saying, what I've only realised about starting to study in the law degree is that all of the laws are available to you. You go on the legislation website. Every single act of parliament.
.gov. Read them.
Listen,
like the Road Traffic Act. The Public Disorder Act. You can read every act of parliament is available to you. Yeah. So you can go into the courtrooms with the acts of parliament, but you haven't got the case laws. You haven't got the expertise, I would say. It's like if I was to ask you to make me a cake now, as like for my wedding, could you bake me a cake for my wedding?
No, of course not, man. I wouldn't even offer you
because you're not fucking used to doing it, are you? You haven't got the tools or anything.
No, exactly.
That's why you employ a solicitor who actually kind of can tease them way through it. They've got an expertise in the law, and that's why you employ these people. Just like you'd employ a plumber.
If you've got an interest in it, I tell you what, and I'll tell everyone to do this.
Oh, believe me, I've got an interest in it.
University website, make a profile and do their free courses on it, and you'll fucking understand. You'll get a much better understanding of how the laws apply. Like it's all to do with the cases. Say you get listen, let me tell you. Say you get like section 23.
You're not telling me. You're not telling me. You're presenting something. You're already.
All right. Imagine I've just played you a song. Imagine I've just played you a song and I'm presenting you some information. If that's better for you, if you want to sing you a song. Look, all I'm saying is, let me get to the point I'm trying to make. Think of how many people have been arrested under Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act. Throughout the UK, it happens every day, day in, day out. Only some of them choose their right to appeal, yeah, and that is what changes the law. It's them appeal arguments that change the law, and the fucking I don't know. All I can say is, if you're interested in the law, go and study it. That's all I say. If you're interested in the law,
the problem is, I don't know your name. What's your name? I couldn't just see a white dot on my screen.
His name's
Bopalop. Bopalop. Yeah, it's gone off my screen. It was there before. So Bopalop, whatever your name is. I'll call you Bop.
Yeah, that'll do.
Go on, everyone else does anyway. Go on, straight.
All right. No, that's cool. I get it. I know you're really. How old are you?
35. Listen, I'm not.
That's cool. I just want to get some sort of juxtaposition because you use certain languages like I'm telling you and all this stuff, but that's fine. I get it.
Yeah. No, but when I say that,
you're very enthusiastic, and I would encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. Go and look at these white papers and stuff, and things like crime bods, because they do educate.
Listen to this one. Let me tell you this then. Let me tell you this is something else I've learned.
Okay.
You're entitled to get into the debates about the white papers and the white paper comes first, and then it's the green paper. But you're entitled once they do the first initial white paper, yeah. Then what they do is they put it on the Gov website. You can look up the. I think it's something like white paper.
And then you can lobby your MP on that. Then you see. So once you know what the bill, that's
you can debate with the MPs. You can debate with the MPs about the laws that are coming.
Yeah.
You know,
now whether they answer or not is another thing. But I do get answers from time to time. My fucking MP hates me because I'm fucking doing his head in at least once a week.
Yeah, that's the way to do it for your MP, man. Do you know what my MP round here? Listen to this one. Yeah, I joined a fucking like a local group round here for me borough. Someone
Mm.
putting a thing up there, yeah. Someone putting a thing about the MP, and they was asking about to regulate the selling cannabis in the borough. And she said, "No, I'm not gonna condone that argument because it causes mental health problems." I sat there, thought about it for a couple of weeks, and I thought, well, surely if the purpose of governance is to protect the society, to protect the individuals, then you want to regulate the sale of it so that it doesn't cause. You know what I mean? You can reduce the amount of mental
that's a good argument. That is a good argument. I'm relatively support. Let
Let him get his point across, Bob.
So that's a relatively good argument. But unfortunately, you've got to remember that your MP has got to go into the bodies of government, like, you know, down at Parliament, and they've got to argue a certain case. And it is all about the institutions that they're going into. Unfortunately, things like changing regulations, for example, like cannabis, because this has been going since I was a lad. And I could tell you some stories that are far too long-winded to go into tonight. But your MP cannot just say, yeah, I'm up for that, because that might end his fucking career in the morning.
So why go to it?
It'd be an interesting listen to this one. Listen to this.
So
I'm diagnosed with
once a week.
That's what you're saying, Ross. What
wait, what's Russ saying? Russ, say that again.
Hang on, Ross. What you saying, Ross?
I'm saying, you know, the outcome of there, which started on a right to me MP every week, where the last sentence was, he ain't going to do fuck off here. Why bother with him? Why ain't going?
Because if you think about it,
stop sending you MP love letters, mate. They don't care about you.
It's not even about whether they care or not. It's about enough voices
listen,
saying.
you know what you want to do now? I'll tell you what you want to do. You want to write to their rival MP and start cussing them out and saying that fucking MP don't give a fuck about me. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Tell your MP I don't give a fuck about you. If you don't get this shit done, then I'm off somewhere else.
Yeah, but they don't give a fuck anyway.
No, they don't, but they do. If there's enough weight of people, if like for example, there's 1 million people who think like us, who write to their MPs, that's 1 million people who are pushing, making pressure.
I remember 1 million people marched to London and not to go to war in fucking Iraq.
It didn't make a fucking bit of difference, exactly, mate. Yeah, unfortunately.
It does make a difference over time. It doesn't make a difference tomorrow. It makes a difference over. It's about keeping it going. You got to keep that agenda going. You don't want this or you don't want that. That's what I'm saying. It's not about fighting your battle to winning a battle today is not winning the war.
We've never won a war against Parliament. Not in my lifetime.
Against who?
Parliament.
Parliament. Well, I'll duck out and let you guys crack on with that one.
Nice one, that. Sound.
We have won battles against Parliament. That's why you've got pensions. That's why you've got
really.
Yeah.
You know what? With the pension, you know these people who's got pension. Let's just take all these pensioners. You think they'd have been better saving the money for when they're retired instead of having it chucked up with taxes under the when the fucking working days are over? You know that? Because that's what they've been spouting for years, and all of a sudden they haven't got it. Now the man that's worked for fucking 45 years, he's not even getting his pension. Put into it. Stop trusting these fuckers, man.
It's true.
I'm not saying you should trust them. The position that
the only way in this world is look after yourself. And look after people that do fucking need it.
Hey.
Bastards.
You should look after these things, but these are the historical institutions of our country. This is why I'm patriotic, because we have built institutions that do help people. This is why people want to come here. You go and live in Nigeria and see what pension you have.
You
quite
admire
honestly,
these institutions. You admire these institutions, yeah, because of like the historical fucking reputation they've got. But however, you have to think of the people operating the institutions at the time when you're alive, and they don't give a
Oliver
fuck about
Cromwell
it.
did.
They don't
What
give a
less
fuck about
pensions
it.
nowadays? Nice one, Danny.
It's the
So
same
there's
with
a good point.
businesses.
A lot less
Any
pensions
business
nowadays.
is the same.
Who else is on the sides? I mean, there's a lot of comments going on off to the right here. Has been
Well said, Stephen. Look what happened to final salary pension.
Oh,
The firm goes, boss,
yeah,
wait.
that was another turning point. You don't get final salary pensions anymore. You get like an API balanced pension these days now. I'm not sure what happened there because
What's
some people,
that? What's the final
the older
salary?
people have got. So you don't get. So what was happening before whatever date it changed from final salary pensions was that you got a standard pension. So that instead of say if you earned 120 grand a year, you got 3/4 of that as a pension. Right? If you earn 120 grand a year after the date it changed, you suddenly got a 50 grand pension or a standard pension, whatever it was. So it took pensions to go standard salary.
People with pensions.
I reckon you're over 40.
Hey, you cheeky bastard! I'm only 37.
What's Squire
Sorry,
7?
Wasp. Sorry, Wasp.
Yeah.
No, just editing
Is
him on.
Squire 7 Wasp then?
What?
I'm looking at the bubble. I've got a comment bubble. Is no one seeing that?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Squire
Yeah.
7.
Yeah. We can all see that. Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing too.
I'm 59.
Well, yeah, you're okay. I get it.
Yeah, he's helped a lot of people over the years as Wasp.
I get it. I've come across Wasp last time. He's a good man, but Bapalot, you're a jittery for me. You're an inquisitor. I like you. But Brian, the royal cake maker's not said much.
Bryn's left. Oh no, yeah, Bryn comes on and doesn't really say much. Have you got anything to add to that, Bryn?
Well, if he's not, shove someone else who might want to come in.
There's no one else in the waiting list, mate.
Right.
Oh no, it's only 6, isn't it?
Is it Bryn?
Yeah. Anyway, listen, I'll jump back in again in a bit. I forgot there's only 6 incoming, so we'll just take fucking bits of the time. I'll just have a chat in the YouTube chat because I fucking neglect that all the time. So I'll bob back in later.
All right.
Nice talking to you, Mr. G.
I can jump out if someone needs in.
No, there's plenty of space.
Hey, Bryn, do you make cakes then?
Yes, I do make cakes.
I like your accent.
She's Canadian.
I'm from Canada.
Canada. So do you know? Initially, when I first heard you, I thought that was Scottish, but Canada.
There's a big difference.
No, I listened to a few guys on YouTube who are Canadian, like YouTubers and all that. And your accent didn't fit into that, so I didn't recognise it immediately as Canadian. What part of Canada?
Western Canada.
Well, Canada's fucking big.
It is. I live in a province called Alberta. It's right next to British Columbia.
I'm going to look it up on Google because I'm thick. So what do you do, Bryn, then? You make cakes?
Yes, I'm a teacher.
Oh, cool. Go on. What do you teach, lads?
Yeah, I have some time off right now. My classroom was shut down due to COVID in the school.
I can imagine it.
We're off for the next 9 days.
I think we're having similar similar problems with the education. It's an issue here too about the transmission of COVID amongst children and keeping schools going, and the lack of education of children and all those important years that kids need for their education. How is that going with you on your side? How are you coping with trying to educate your kids?
Right now, when there's no class in session, we do it online.
Yeah.
We have distance education learners that do the marking and things like that.
Yeah.
And we just have to make sure that all of our students are present when they log on, and if they need help with their work, I support them with their aids. And my hands are pretty much tied at the time.
I can imagine they are. What age group are you teaching?
I teach grade 2.
So grade 2 will be foreign to like this. This is coming from the UK generally. So grade 2. What age are the children?
7 or 8 years old usually.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So we call that primary school over here. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I imagine that's quite. I mean, I can't imagine a room full of kids anyway. Never mind all the conditions out there are. I mean, in normal times, a room full of kids to educate, I can't imagine even doing that, lass.
Yeah.
Even started.
Yeah, I have 27 students at the moment this year, and they all have to wear masks at school, and which we find is a problem. Little ones, it's hard to keep masks on all day, and
I think this is common to everyone in it at the moment.
Yeah, and do physical education tasks and things like that, wearing masks. And we have incidences where students want to switch masks because someone has a Spider-Man mask and they want a Batman mask. And
that's kids not really grasping things, so you can't blame them, can you? And
no, you can't. They're just small.
And you think about it. I'm ambivalent about masks. In that they are trapping the thing, and if masks aren't handled properly, and they go onto surfaces and things, or kids want to swap them, what are your feelings about that? I mean, how are you guys coping with trying to control the environment given the government constraints on you?
Well, we try to keep an eye on it, but inevitably when they're out at recess time, they do things like swap their masks out and things like that. And so we have disposable masks when we found that they've swapped their masks or anything like that we have them wear for the rest of the day. Then we make a little note to the parents that they've switched masks.
Yeah.
And they need to water.
Yeah. Hey, well done you. You're a trooper.
To be fair, in regards to the educational system worldwide, I don't know how it goes, in other countries, but over here, when they said last year that COVID's hitting, but kids aren't going to be affected, we'll be fine, keep the education system going. I think it should have been a blanket of close fucking everything. Because obviously, with schools being open, this, that, and the transmission rate has notably gone up. And I think they should have closed everything down to start off with, like the other countries have done. I mean, there's certain countries over in Europe that are now back to normal, and people are out in bars, clubs, and enjoying themselves because they've eliminated the issue, but they've kept the borders closed.
I think that might be a slightly dangerous position to. Not dangerous, but a slightly. I'm trying to think of sensitive words. A slightly. You shouldn't take what you see on the cover as what is read, because when you look at news things, it's really hard to verify your sources. So when you talk to this lass, and I'm sorry, I don't know what's your name again, lass?
Bryn.
Bryn.
Bryn. So when you talk about these things that you hear in the news and the media and stuff, and when you talk to a person who we've got a privilege to meet right now, who's a teacher, called Bryn, teaches kids, and she's having to deal with the issues of actually educating kids. I imagine, Bryn, you're under certain pressures from people above you to do certain things while you want to try and teach your kids. And that's not the same. That's not Bryn's responsibility to look after transmission so much. It's more that Bryn has to implement.
Yeah, it's the administration expects a lot of us a lot from us to try to keep this mask thing under control at school. I mean, I have 27 students in my class, which is a high number to begin with, and they're all at different learning levels. So on top of teaching and providing education, we've become kind of glorified babysitters with this mask issue on top of that as well. And it makes instructional time very difficult and limited because you have to take so much time for these mask issues.
Do you find that the time that you're spending on dealing with the implementation of what you're expected to do against the education of the kids is now becoming... Do you find that the implementation of the safety measures are now overriding the educational drives?
I get what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, they far outweigh the education. Yeah, they far outweigh them. And I mean, we do so much already as a school. We have a breakfast program, a lunch program. So for children that come from economically strained, financially strained families, we provide them breakfast and lunch.
Right. I think that's a common theme to us both, Bryn, to be honest, because we're having the same issues over here with that, where, we're hearing about these lunchbox deployments of government aid to kids so that they can carry on eating, because schools are a really important source of them getting at least a decent meal during the week. And we've had some political issues around that over here, so I get where you're coming from with that.
It's been an issue for a long time, though, with kids struggling to eat and this, that, and the other. And there's a lot of school systems do, have your free school lunches, your free this, your free that. But
and there are those other arguments around that against how much parenting is involved in that, and socio-economic groups.
Yes, over here, it's all by donation, the breakfast and lunch program. There's no funds allocated by the school division itself. It's all by donation.
Yeah. How does it work in your schools then? Are school meals funded by your government? Because in the UK, school meals, in law and technically, are funded by the government, which might be different to how they do it in Canada. I don't know.
Yes, no, our government doesn't fund school meals. It's all by donation.
Or the parent is responsible for feeding the child during the day at school.
Yes. I find for as long as I've been teaching, and I've been teaching for almost 20 years, I find more and more we take on the role as locus parents for the children at school, and parents have to take less and less responsibility of being a parent. Like, for example, we have winter, which is quite severe over here in Canada, and we take donations for winter coats, winter boots, hats, gloves, things like that for, again, financially strained families to make sure the children are dressed properly for the winter to go outside for recess.
So I think what you're saying is you spend a lot of your educational career providing a social service to the community.
Indeed, indeed we do. The social services aspect is much greater than it used to be. Parents are relying on schools for a lot more than just education for their children.
I think in some ways, though, I mean, I'm gonna play the side of the card here now, Bryn. In that, is that not in some ways what schools are there for too? And this is why people like yourself are heroes amongst our community, in that you are there to provide those things and provide a service so that people can actually go out and present a meal to the table or something, or go out and achieve other things, and that education.
You also, can I add on the back of that? Has your pay gone up at all? Because I think that everybody who is a key worker and keeping society going, as it were, should have received a fucking pay rise, to be fair.
Yeah, G-Man. So I have taught long enough where I have leveled out with my pay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how many more years that I teach. My wage will stay the same. My salary will stay the same.
Well, maybe a bonus system should be implemented for people who have, who have to work. I've got friends who work in nurseries, and you're pretty much, teach yourself. They're receiving nothing extra, no bonuses, forced to work as well. If I'm shielding for me and my family's sake. No, you can't. We'll sack you. Have you come across that within your educational system over there?
Oh, yes. No bonuses, no hazard pay, no extra pay, no incentive.
No, it's not right, is it? It's not right at all, to be fair.
Do your job. Keep your nose down. Do your job, or we'll find a teacher to replace you.
Wow. It's not right. It can't be right.
Bring someone else into the stream, Rick.
We've got no one else waiting.
Just the three of us.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. It's a private conversation then.
So what part of
chat, but no one seems to want to jump on, to be fair. Go on, Bren.
what part of England are you from? I'm sorry, what's your name?
This is Paromo, my dad.
Oh, that's your dad.
Yeah.
Hello, Richard's dad.
You can call me Moz. My online name is Paromo. People who know me are Moz. My name's Peter. It's originally Peter Moriarty, but I married a lass who's a good, strong woman, and she was called Rogers as her second name. So we put the names together, and it's called Peter. I'm known as legally Peter Rogers Moriarty. But
very nice.
Call me Moz. Or Paromo. That's my online handle.
Paromo, okay.
Yeah. I was a sound engineer many years ago, and that was Paromo Audio. That's like a brand name. But Moz is my friendly name online.
So are you from Leicester as well?
I'm close to Leicester.
Yeah, he's not far off. About 40 minutes away, thereabouts, isn't it?
Yeah. It's jump in the car. It's 40 minutes away. It's not like driving across Canada. Put it that way.
Yeah.
No, that takes about 4 days.
Yeah.
Wow, Jesus! Just the scale of it. Oh, that's a point. Did you know they changed the maps in such a way that it made the United States and Canada look bigger on the map?
Oh, Rick, no, you're falling into a misnomer there. There's
Go
going to
on.
be 2 teachers who are going to tell you off about this right now.
Yeah,
That's called a Cartesian map. That's how you spread a map out across a flat piece of paper. If you put it onto a globe, right, there are many, many other maps. I could give you a really good source to look at that, and that's called Veritasium, and he'll explain it, or just look at anything to do with cartography. All right, there are different ways to display maps, and you're right, it makes America look bigger. But if you do it on, like, say, something like Google Earth, and there is a website where you can drag the countries along and drop them onto places. Right, Africa is fucking way bigger, way bigger.
yeah, of course it is.
Including last, but Canada, don't underestimate it, because Canada, I'm sure Bryn will back me up on this, is mostly uninhabited. It's just lots of mountains.
Yeah.
Okay, and it gets flipping cold up in Canada in some places, I can tell you.
Yes, it's
I've never been there.
today outside it's minus 17 degrees Celsius. We have wind chill, which makes it feel like minus 24.
Exactly. Now, the worst I've experienced, Bryn, I was an old Hackett Scottish mixed winter mountaineering climbing, crampons, ice axes, and climb up the gullies and rock and all that sort of stuff. And I think the lowest I experienced in Scotland was minus 20.
Jesus.
And that was cold. Okay. But I
Yeah,
used to go out
quite
and do
cold.
that sort of thing. But bloody Canada, you know what I mean? I've spoken to a few people who lived in Canada, a couple of guys I know locally who went, one guy I know specifically that went over there because of a love. Lived in Canada for 2 years, come back, told me his story. Yeah, it's a big wild expanse that if I could have one of the places I'd love to go in the world is Canada, but not to, the cities, is to get out and meet thems that live out there in Canada.
Yeah. We have some beautiful places, nature places in the province that I live in. Beautiful. People come from all over the world to come and see, both in the winter and in the summer.
But I tell you what, Bryn, I've scooped around Google Maps and everything, just looking at places around Canada, and I'd love to go there. I really would. There's a guy I follow on YouTube called Abe. I'm into engineering stuff, and he does a lot of engineering stuff that I follow, and he's in a Canadian bloke. And then you get the more commercial end of it, which is Linus Tech Tips. He's in Ontario, I think he is, or maybe a bit north of there. And Canada is just one of those places that I would just like to go to. It's not like going to France over in Europe where you have to learn French or something. You can go to Canada and speak English.
Yeah, you can, except for Quebec.
They're very French.
They're very French. In fact, they fight with the rest of Canada. Not many other provinces in Canada get along with Quebec.
Why is that? Why have they sort of segregated themselves?
They've segregated themselves. They think they're better than the rest of Canada. They take our money, like my tax dollars. A portion of it goes to Quebec.
Like Scotland and the UK.
Right, get you. Yeah.
Yeah. We have what we call over here the Heritage Fund, and it's $250 million. And it's supposed to be for Alberta, for my province. For the last 30 years, it's been going to Quebec.
Yeah, we have a similar thing over here, Bryn, in that we have Scotland to the north of us, which are shouting about independence and what have you. But they receive more input to their economy from the Union of the UK and what have you, than that they provide into it. A bit like what we were arguing about over Brexit, whereas we were putting more in than we were getting out. But the thing about Scotland is they receive more money from us than they're giving into the economy, but we treat them as the whole of the United Kingdom. There are similar arguments over Wales, for example, but Scotland is pretty poorly. So Quebec, as you're describing it, seems to be more like an ideological thing, a bit like maybe Brittany on the north coast of France, whereas they see themselves as this kind of attached item to the rest of the country. Would that describe it adequately enough?
Yeah, I think that's an accurate statement.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And, well, I'll just give you an example about how the French act over here. So I went to Montreal, which is the capital of Quebec. Now, I speak French because we speak it in school. It's taught in school.
I was going to ask you if you spoke French.
And we went out for dinner to quite a posh restaurant, and there were 8 of us. And, you know, we ordered quite expensive entrees and appetizers and quite nice bottles of wine. Anyways, our bill was $600. Anyways, throughout the service, the servers were talking about us and saying we're just stupid Albertans and look at us throwing our money away. And
They were speaking French.
They were speaking French, but they weren't aware that we spoke it, that I spoke French.
That's why I asked you. Go on.
Yes, and so I waited till the end of the meal, and then I turned to them and I said to them in French, I've understood every single word you've said about us. I wish to speak to your manager. And they were shocked that I could speak French. And I called them out basically. Anyways, we ended up getting our tab taken care of. They took care of the bill, the manager did. So we got a free meal. But yes, they can speak English. They just refuse to speak English.
Yeah, I kind of get. It's a bit patriotic, yeah. But that reminds me of something my father always said to me, and this was, when in everyday life, okay, let them think you're thick. I don't know if you get me on that, Bryn. In that is, when people are around you, just let them think you're a bit stupid. If they want to think you're stupid, let them think you're stupid, and then you can surprise them afterwards. You know what I mean? Like you're outflank them.
Yes, I get you.
Yeah, let them think you're thick. Because the Irish, I'm of Irish descent, and the Irish over here is part of a long-standing thing about ridiculing the Irish as being stupid and thick. I don't know how much you understand about Irish jokes and what have you over here. I'm sure there's some equivalents.
My grandparents were from Kerry.
Do you know? Well done. No, not Kerry. I'm from Kilkenny. My family. It sounded similar, but yeah. Well, the Irish get everywhere. It's like Liverpudlians.
Yeah.
No matter where you go in the world, you'll always find a Liverpudlian. That's a person from Liverpool, Bryn.
You got to branch out, ain't you?
It's the same as if you go anywhere in the world, you'll always find an Aussie or a New Zealander.
That's
Seriously.
true. That's true.
Because they're encouraged to get out there and go backpacking and do what have you. But
yeah.
I'm losing the thread of this conversation right now, Bryn.
Where would you want to go? Ultimate one destination that you'd like to travel to. Why?
Who, Bryn or me?
Yeah, Bryn.
Go on, Bryn.
Where would I like to go? I'd love to go to the UK, actually. I'd love to see my roots. I had one set of grandparents that immigrated in the 60s. They were Geordies. And another set of grandparents that came from Kerry in Ireland. So I would love to come over to the UK and check out my roots, my heritage.
Well, Bryn, if ever the opportunity exists, and you should remember this conversation, and I am capable enough body and mind, okay, I will facilitate that for you insofar as I am capable at the time that may happen.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome to visit. We can meet up. No problem.
No,
thank you. I appreciate that, guys.
But it's true. It is true.
Same to Canada. You'd be most welcome here.
I would love to come to Canada, Bryn, but you know what? It's the way the world is right now. I'm not sure that's going to happen anytime soon.
Indeed. Indeed.
But,
that's true.
The thoughts are wonderful. I could show you some lovely places up around Durham. You know, there's a lot of British history there, and it's very connected with Canada as well. You know, there's a lot of well, basically, all of America is immigration from the side of the pond, isn't it? At the end of the day, and you know, no, I'm not. I had a thought then, and I thought I'm not going to say that because that was going to get really political, so I'm not going to say it. But it's good to hear about people who are having similar experiences on the other side of the planet, and we're just talking into a computer to each other. I've never met you. You know?
Yeah, indeed. Indeed.
Indeed.
But I've got to go pick up my son from work, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
What time is it over there right now, Bryn?
It is 2:15 p.m.
Right, so it's now 9:30 over here, 9:15.
Yeah,
so,
there's a 7-hour time change. Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
So
We sometimes forget that. Bryn, thank you so much. I've enjoyed.
yeah. Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you.
it's all good.
And a pleasure meeting you too. Don't expect the same conversation if you book in tomorrow, but it might get interesting.
Take it easy, Bryn. Chat soon.
Okay. We'll talk to you soon, G-Man.
No worries. I'm probably going to wrap up the stream as well, guys, and move over onto Hangouts. If you want to shift over there, you know where the links are, people. Take it easy. Nice one for coming on. Chat to you all soon. Nice one, Dad. I'll see you soon.
Nice one, dude. Nice one, Bryn. Pleasure meeting you.
You as well. You as well. Thank you.
Stay safe.
Later.